look where I am. Huntington Beach. If you could just show over here, look at the pier. That's the Huntington Beach Pier. This is Huntington Beach behind me here. This is the city itself. There's the sands from the beach. And if you come on over this way, you can see beautiful. Come on over here, you can see the oil rigs out there. This is God's home country. Now, I'm here at Huntington Beach, but what I want to talk about, a lot of Muslims, they look at this book here, the Quran, and they make this claim all the time that this book, what I have in my hand here, has always been. This is the uncreated Quran. This is the book that has always existed. It sits on those eternal tablets that are up in heaven. Those tablets, they say that, therefore, it has never had any human interference. So because of that, it is unique in the world. And it's fascinating because I get this all the time from Muslims, that this book that I have in my hand is the only uncreated revelation, unlike the Bible, they say, which has been corrupted. And they say that this book, the Quran, was sent down to Muhammad. We've talked about that already in the other segments that we've already gone through. What they don't know is that this book that I have in my hand here, this is the Hafs Qur'an. That's the Arabic, here's the English translation. This Arabic Hafs text is a very new text. How many of you who are watching this even know what I'm talking about? Probably very few of you. And the reason why is your own authorities have not told you the story how this book was put together. This does not come from the 7th century. It does not come from the 8th century or the 9th or the 10th. In fact, it comes from the 20th century. This book, the Hafs text, was actually put together in 1924 in Cairo, in Egypt, done by the Department of Education there, because all the high schools, the government high schools, they found that there were many texts that they were using. There was not one standard text. They had a problem because they needed to get one standard text. So they went to the committee there at Al-Azhar University there in Cairo, and they asked them to put together just one text. And so they chose one called the Hafs. Hafs, who is this Hafs? It's a person, actually. It's a student who died in 796. That's the 8th century, 144 years after Muhammad. He is just one of 37 students that was chosen because there was actually 37 different qira'at, different readings that existed in the late 8th, early 9th century. They just chose one, the man named Hafs, and they made it the official Quran for the schools. They just thought they were doing it for standardizing the school text. Now, what did they do with all the other ones that disagreed? Well, they threw them into the Nile River, and they're still there today, down at the bottom of the Nile River. Now, what's fascinating to me is this became so successful that in 1936, the government in Egypt realized that they needed to do this right around Egypt, so it became Egypt-wide. It was so successful in Cairo, they made all the standardized Qurans in all the schools in Egypt the Hafs text. That was in 1936, and they call it the Farouk edition, named after King Fahd, who ruled from 1936 to 1952. In 1985, then, the Saudi Arabians realized what was happening in Egypt and realized that there were so many different Qurans around the world that they decided to take this Hafs text, the one that had been created in 1924, had been made standardized for all of Egypt in 1936, and made it official for the entire world in 1985, which means only 33 years ago, this text, known as the Fahd text, F-A-H-D, Fahd, after King Fahd of Saudi Arabia, became the official text of the Quran, which means this book that I'm holding in my hand today that comes from Saudi Arabia, Al-Hilali and Muhsin Khan, is only 33 years old. Folks, this is not 1400 years old. This is not a text that came from Muhammad. This is not even a text that came from Uthman. This is not a text that came from even the original 6 manuscripts that we have. Every one of those 6 manuscripts does not agree with this text. That's why Muslims, when they say that this is the only book that goes right back to the origins, need to look at the official story. This is only 33 years old. I imagine many of you who are watching me right now are older than this Quran. I'm certainly older than this Quran. I was born in 1953. If this is the canonized official text made canonical by King Fahd there in 1985. Ooh, I love it. Now, can you see why we're doing this? This is not to mock the Quran. This is to say for you Muslims, stop making claims you cannot support. We would never make claims about our Bible like that. We know when it was written, we know who wrote it, we know why it was written, we know when the manuscripts exist, we know, give the dates to them. We do not make up wild stories about a book that's eternal. We would never make that about the Bible. Muslims, you need to stop making that up at the Quran. Nothing more than a text that was first created in 1924. That's 94 years ago, and was made official by the Saudi Arabian government for all the world in 1985. God bless you. This is Jay here in Huntington Beach. Isn't it great as the sun is about to go down? Isn't it great to be in God's creation? What a beautiful place. It's great to finally come down here and see this great city. Well, this is Jay here in Huntington. Over and out.